Welcome to the LMS platform introduced by Krishnakanta Hendik State Open University. Today we will discuss the Unit 3 of the paper Sociology and Introduction, which is meant for the MA first semester learners of Sociology. Now, after going through this unit, you will be able to know the meaning of culture, different types of culture, know the meaning of civilization, and the difference between culture and civilization. Also, you all will be able to know the relationship between culture and civilization. Now, you must have remembered that in the previous section 2, we have discussed about culture. And in this unit, we will discuss the relation between culture and society in detail. Now, let us first discuss the meaning of culture. Sir Edward Taylor advocated a simple but a very inclusive definition of culture. Culture includes everything acquired or learned by human beings that is not physically inherited. It is a way of life of the people in a certain geographical area. Culture includes how they dress, their marriage customs, and the family life, their pattern of works, religious ceremonies, and their leisure pursuits. So, in other words, it includes anything and everything which man learns as a member of society. There are other definitions as well which you can find in your SLM and write any definition according to your preference or choice. Now, when we go through the different meanings or the definitions of culture, four distinct aspects emerge, and they are that culture is a learned behavior. It suggests that culture is learned and taught and shared, and by no means it can be acquired by an individual in isolation from society. Now, the second aspect is that it is a social heritage. It suggests the idea of inheritance, which indicates culture is handed down from one generation to the other. It is superorganic. It indicates that culture varies in relative independence of physical constituents and biological components and has an independent meaning. It is a design for living. It suggests that culture varies from one society or group to another. It varies in different places and at the same time in the same place or at different times as well. Now let us discuss the factors that determine the variability of culture. First can be historical incidences. Some of the customs whose origin is difficult to trace can be said to have originated due to some personal or group's unconscious behavior. Somebody might have done something unconsciously, or a particular social action may have been done by somebody, and others started to imitate him or her, and over a period of time that might have become a custom and a part of their culture. Then we have geographical factors. Our landscape or the environment plays a very important role in determining our culture. So you must have noticed that people in deserts have a different style of clothing, music, and then people in riverine areas have a different style of living, different food habits. Then again, people in the mountains have a different pattern of life, which helps them to deal with the environment that they are experiencing, and gradually it becomes a lifestyle that becomes a part of their unique culture. Then we have mobility of human organism. It is because human beings are flexible and mobile, due to which there is cultural variability. We have seen how with migration people adopt new lifestyles and accordingly new cultures emerge. Then we have inventions and discoveries. With new inventions and discoveries, people change their lifestyle and gradually which becomes a part of a culture in a particular society. Then we have individual peculiarities or personal eccentricities. Sometimes individual peculiarities or personal eccentricities also influence cultural behavior. For example, Gandhi cap, which one particular individual started, but it became a part of culture through one particular individual's peculiarity. Then we have change in the mode of production. Mode of production means economy. Karl Marx held that the mode of production is the sole determinant of the culture of a particular group of people. Their art, their morals, their customs, laws, literature actually is determined by the mode of production according to Karl Marx. Then now let us discuss the features of culture. First of all, culture is learned. We have already discussed about it, that an individual is not born with a particular culture. He or she has to learn from other members in the society. It is shared. In a particular society, it is not that one individual have a particular culture. It is shared by all the members of a particular group. Then, transgeneration. Culture is always transferred from one generation to the next, which ensures its continuity. Then finally, culture is symbolic in nature. It is found in different symbolic patterns. When we put together our hands in a specific pattern, we welcome a newcomer, and this pattern is unique to Indian culture. We again use different gestures to indicate specific meanings, isn't it? And every culture has those symbolic symbols which express certain aspects of our culture. Then we have seen that culture is pattern, which ensures its continuity. But these patterns may vary from one society to another. Industrial society has its own cultural pattern which might be very different from the rural society. Then culture is adoptive. Culture to some extent is based on the human capacity to adopt. There are many things within a culture, but all people of a society cannot accept or adopt all the things. Some of them adopt some aspects, and some of them might adopt other aspects. For example, art. The art of weaving, the art of singing may not be adopted by all, but it is retained by some people. Then finally, it is social. Culture is neither developed nor transmitted in isolation, as it emanates from shared values. That is why it is social in nature. Then another important feature of culture is that it is universal. In every society, be it the present society or a past society, a modern society or a rural society, in every society we find certain culture exists. So in other words, in every society of the world there exists certain culture. It is continuous. It is one of the most important feature of culture that it is a continuous process. It has been the part of human civilization since time immemorial. And of course, that it varies from time to time and place to place. Now let us discuss the functions of culture. It is culture that makes us the way we are. It provides us a complete design for living. It teaches us what type of food we should take and in what manner, how we should cover ourselves and how we should behave with our fellow beings. It teaches us everything. It provides us with a design of living. Secondly, culture provides us with a set of behavior even for the complicated situation. It so thoroughly influences us that we often do not require any external force to keep us in conformity with the social requirements. Then culture helps us to interpret different situations in our life. Culture keeps social relationships intact. Culture has an importance not only for individuals but also for the group. Had there been no culture, there would have been no group life. Culture is that design or that framework that provides the prescription and provides the principles of guiding our lives through different values and through different ideals. Finally, culture broadens the vision of an individual. Culture has given a new vision to the individuals by providing him and her with a set of rules for cooperation. She may think not only of his or her own self but also others. Culture, through different folklores, through different written or oral narratives, teaches us what one individual is supposed to do in different situations. What is a value? What should be one's ideals? Then culture also creates new needs and new drives. For example, the thirst for knowledge. It is something that is taught to us by our culture. It also arranges for the satisfaction of needs. It satisfies the aesthetic, moral, and the religious interests of the members in a group. In this way, groups also owe much to the culture. Now we have different types of culture. Let us discuss them. First of all, the popular culture or the mass culture. Popular culture and mass culture are often related. It is something that everyone can have access to. For example, the genes. Popular culture is also commonly known as the pop culture and is a totality of ideas, perspectives, attitudes, memes. In the present situation we can see images and other phenomena which gain informal approval. Now, mass culture refers to that culture which is produced and distributed and marketed at the mass scale. It tends to reproduce the liberal view of individualism and fosters the view of the citizen as a customer. Mass culture is a set of culture and values and ideas that arise from the common exposure of a population to same cultural activities, communication, media, music and art, etc. Now when we talk about culture, there are basically two aspects, material culture and non-material culture. Now all the tangible things, starting from the needle to the missile to the buildings or to the plow that have been created in a particular society is a part of material culture. It is also known as civilization. And all the aspects that are not tangible, like the ideas, the norms, the knowledge system, language, all these form under the category of non-material culture. Now when we are talking about culture, there is a very important concept which is known as the cultural lag. So this concept was forwarded by W.F. Ogburn. According to him, in a society, the material culture or technology develops faster than the attitudes, norms and the social practices that falls within the category of non-material culture. This is known as cultural lag. For example, a society may be economically very prosperous, but it may be very regressive in their social life or may be very conservative. So it is an example of cultural lag. So today in this video we have discussed how culture is associated with society. Hope you all have understood it and will try to locate these aspects in context of your society. Thank you.